Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All sorts of news going on today. This will be a quick one, though. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada announced yesterday that he was going to be stepping down as the Prime Minister, pending a selection of a replacement Prime Minister from the Liberal Party. He's been the Prime Minister for about 10 years in Canada, and he's had an up and down term during that time. I think, generally speaking, now for the Canadian people watching this, it's amazing how passionate my Canadian viewers get when they post up about Justin Trudeau. There is no middle ground. They love him or hate him. Very few people are kind of like, yeah, I can take or leave the guy. No, he's polarizing, and I'm not exactly sure why the right is so triggered by him. Other than, of course, he's ruining the country and giving it away to minorities and open borders and all sorts of stuff. All the same BS that we hear in the United States. Just saying. And the Conservative candidate, Pierre, who's Poilievre, I don't pronounce his last name right, my apologies. You don't need to show me the pronunciation in the comments, because frankly, I don't care. Now, if I ever start covering Canada as a channel, then yeah, I'm going to have to get on the schneid and actually do that. I was even watching a YouTube video just trying to get his name pronounced correctly. He is out there basically saying that quote, every Liberal MP and leadership contender supported everything, all caps, Trudeau did for 9 years, and now they want to trick voters by swapping in another Liberal face to keep ripping off Canadians for another 4 years, just like Justin. You know what that sounds like? Coming from the U.S.? That sounds like Joe Biden stepping down from being the Democratic candidate and Kamala Harris replacing him, and Donald Trump having an absolute hissy fit because his whole campaign was about smearing and defeating Joe Biden, which he felt he could do, and he had spent years and millions of dollars smearing Joe Biden. Then all of a sudden Kamala Harris comes in there and he's like, that's not fair, you can't change that candidate, I can't beat her, I haven't even come up with a nickname for her yet. All the candidates of the Liberals, every one of them supports Trudeau, so none of them can be trusted. Oh, that's a great generalization from the populist. Is he going to be as bad as Donald Trump? Is anybody as bad as Donald Trump? I don't know. I would say on this channel, Justin Trudeau's viewed favorably. You had him while we had Trump. Man, oh man. And I had my Canadian friends like, oh, well, Trudeau's bad. It's like, I'll trade you Trump for it. And even that said, no, that's okay. He's not that bad. Just, they may be conservative, but they're not idiots. There's been a swing to the right throughout Europe and in Canada. The Conservative Party has double-digit leads, apparently, in polling over the Liberal Party. But maybe Justin Trudeau stepping down and fresh new leadership coming in could make a difference in the polling and generate some enthusiasm for the Liberals, which I'm sure the Conservatives don't want to see, which is why they're just slamming this. But let's look at the energy of Justin Trudeau's announcing his stepping down. What are things going on for him? And then we'll look to see how things might improve or not for the Liberal Party. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. Energy around Justin Trudeau as he steps down, announces his resignation of the Prime Minister position. Foundation of the reading is the Seven of Wands. I think he's just tired. He's been fighting for several years now. For the most part, staying on, he was the king of the hill for, nearly 9 years, or a little over 9 years, almost 10 years. And I think he's tired of the fight. But one thing, and I've said this on multiple readings in the past, this guy could walk on water and do amazing things. People get bored with the same old, and then they want something different. Probably if Trudeau had resigned about 6 or 7 years into his thing, stepped down as the prime minister and let somebody else take over, what he would have done was locked in a legacy of some amazing things that he had started and done and then handed off. And it gives him the potential for if he ever wanted to be PM again a decade later, he's got all that goodwill capital as people start forgetting the challenges he faced and starts remembering the good stuff he did. I think the problem is once you're in the position of power like that, you want to see your vision all the way through. And there's going to be more and more resistance to you getting your vision across. And then your popularity starts waning. Any scandals that he got himself into, again, chips away at not his credibility, but at his reputation and his legacy. His legacy is the word I'm looking for there. What's the energy around it? I think he's just tired. He's been at King of the Hill. It's okay. Yeah, he's tired, and what he's seeing is that his popularity is decreasing. There aren't many good options, and he's being told on all sides, hey, the problem, it's you. You're the problem. He may not believe it, but he's being told he's the problem. And he's had people resign from their version of the cabinet, their leadership. They've had leaders resign. And it's getting to the point that, as he even put it, the squabbling inside the party is getting so bad. He recognizes that he just doesn't have the support he needs to keep the Liberal Party and their allies in power come next election. So, what's better? Take your legacy and run, and let a fresh new face come in, basically. And again, the Conservatives are trying to not let the Liberals do this. Basically saying they're all Justin Trudeau supporters, therefore they're all evil and you can't trust them. I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what they said, but you get the idea. In the past, you have the Eight of Cups. He's been in some embarrassing situations, and again, I think he's been pressured to leave, and he's put it off. Probably since year 8 of his 9+ year thing, he has been asked to leave, or he's considered leaving. But he's leaving now. Current situation is the World card. And I think also part of it is, I don't think he wants to be the guy who loses the election in October. Now, that being said, is that sticking your tail between your legs and taking the cowardly way out? You could look at it that way if you wanted to. Or you could look at it, it's like he has a pretty good idea that his popularity isn't going to recover. And rather than be an albatross around the whole party's neck, put somebody in there who's dynamic and can energize the Liberal side of the party. There may not be anybody who could do that. I'm not saying the person who replaces him is going to be that dynamic person. But if you want to give the non-far right a chance in Canada, you're going to need to get the center and the left parties together to come up with a dynamic candidate that they're just going to have to agree to support to maintain their power. Just telling you like it is. Not saying I agree with it or disagree with it, but telling you like it is. And that's the thing. He was a young guy coming in with fresh ideas 9 years ago. Some of those ideas have panned out really well. The First Nations people really like the foundations he's reached. The Conservatives don't like the immigration, the aggressive immigration policies that Canada has. And that's why they're pushing back on that. And there's kind of a worldwide anti-immigration vibe going on now. And I could get into a long, detailed discussion about that. But that's by design. Overarching energy, he's sneaking off into the night. I don't know any other way to put it. It's like, this is not stolen election. I think he's sneaking off. No offense. That's what he's doing. Lesson to be learned. Yeah, his year 10, he's done. He's done. There's no recovery. He may not ever run for politics again. I don't know if I'd slam the door quite so hard on that one, but I think you're going to see a right shift in politics in Canada for a while there, and he doesn't want to be on the losing end of that. Outcome is the Six of Swords. Again, I think, this is kind of the card of immigration. This is him leaving. Things are in a bit of a mess as he's leaving. And believe me, the Conservatives are going to try and keep on message about what a disaster Canada is. And it's solely Justin Trudeau's fault that Canada is where it is. Never mind the pandemic. Never mind Canada writing checks to help their citizenry maintain living standards, which led to billions of dollars of debt that Canada needs to pay back. You don't want to trade with the U.S., though, right? Canada could bounce back against it. They had to do that to keep their economies going. Sometimes being a leader is a thankless job. And then you've got the far right again, instigated by the U.S. no less, coming in there with their anti-mask protests and the massive trucker things. That's all BS. It's Russian propaganda starting in the U.S. and invading Canada, and then made to look like a Canadian grassroots program. It wasn't. That's how the far right is working these days and succeeding in doing it. It preys and plays on people's fears. My friends in Canada, they don't like Trudeau, and usually when they talk about him, the thing that they talk about the most is that I have all these immigrants coming in taking jobs. That's fear-based stuff. Not many immigrants come in there and take these, great white-collar director-level jobs or something or computer programming jobs. The only reason why they would do that is if the companies are trying to save money by not hiring Canadians who can do the same skill set. The H-1B visa thing that we've got going on in the United States. Most immigrants, when they come in, they do the crappiest, most labor-intensive jobs that nobody else wants to do. At least that's the case of the U.S. All right, so Trudeau's getting while the getting's good. Probably he's about a year to 18 months too late on the getting part, but, that's what's happening. Will describe the next his replacement prime minister for 2025. What can you tell me about this person, okay? Just a little four-carder on this person. The Lover's card. This person is going to be, it may be from the Liberal Party. It's going to be somebody that, let's say the Liberal Party and I forget what the other party is, the New Democratic Party. It's in this story here. It's going to be somebody that they agree on. They need to come to an agreement on a candidate because they need both of those parties to bolster to outmaneuver or outperform the Conservatives. Ten of Swords, just like that was the lesson to be learned. It can't be somebody who was closely aligned to Justin Trudeau. I think that's part of the problem. You have to avoid that. You want somebody who's unique from Trudeau so that when the Conservatives say, oh, it's just Justin Trudeau 2.0, you can push back and say, no, it's not. If they're going to give somebody this opportunity, it would help if this person is dynamic that can help with fundraising. But it's going to be a big opportunity. Whoever they pick, it's going to be a big opportunity for them. And right now they're underneath the Queen of Wands. It might be I think it's going to be a woman. It's going to be a woman. It's going to be a big opportunity for them. They have to have a distinct vision plan looking forward and not be related to Justin Trudeau. Now, I don't know if you've seen this clip. I don't even know Elizabeth May's party affiliation. I'm assuming she's on the Liberal side of things. But oh my God. There's been a clip going around TikTok where Elizabeth May takes Donald Trump to task. First off, schooling him on how Canadian politics are different than American politics, because Donald Trump, in his very Trumpian logic, was suggesting that Wayne Gretzky should run for prime minister because, you know, he's great and he'd be great at the job. Dude's a hockey player. Great hockey player. I believe the great one is his nickname. But yeah, just like Herschel Walker was a great football player, doesn't mean he's going to be a great senator or an ambassador to Haiti or someplace like that. It also doesn't mean that Wayne Gretzky would be a great prime minister. Now, for the Americans out there, you don't run for prime minister. The political parties run for parliament, and the political party that has the most votes, if they can hold a majority of parliament, their political leader becomes the prime minister. If it's all minority parties, i.e. nobody has a majority, then I think the minority parties make coalitions and they select a leader that would be mutually agreeable to them. And if they can't get one that's mutually agreeable, what they do is that it'll be the party that probably has the most seats, and then there'll be compromises they give to their supporting parties to get it's horse trading, to get some of their agenda passed through. You don't run for prime minister. You are appointed the prime minister. So when Trudeau steps down and they announce his replacement, leading for the Liberal Party, that Liberal Party candidate is likely they're going to be the new prime minister. They would just need support from other parties to make sure that they have the majority they need. And I'm sure there'll be some horse trading that goes along with that. I think it's going to be a woman. It's going to be a woman of passion. She's not going to be Justin Trudeau 2.0. Hardly that at all. She might be quite different than him because you need something dynamic. And the Queen of Pentacles just popped up. It's probably going to be somebody who's just really sensible. So she may not be very left. She might be a bit more center. Kitchen table type issues. You know, very practical, very well-spoken. For us, it would be like a Katie Porter or an Elizabeth Warren, somebody like that. Okay. The Conservatives, Pierre and company, when the new prime minister is brought in, how are they viewing that? Does this cause them any concern whatsoever? King of Cups. He's going to get loud and passionate. Just like he said, they're all Justin Trudeau 2.0. He's, despite whoever they put in, he's feeling good about himself right now. Yeah, this is all pearl clutching. Look at all the cups. All the big feelings and emotions. I don't think, honestly, the way I look at this, the Conservatives, whoever they bring in, to oppose them, the Conservatives aren't concerned. They think they've got this thing locked up. They've got the culture war outrage locked up. They're feeling confident, and they're going to move forward with their agenda. Whether it's financial support or pushing their values through, they think they've got this. Okay, so regardless of, I shouldn't say regardless, but when the new prime minister comes in, the Conservatives aren't concerned. I mean, they're raising their ire now and making all these accusations, but that's just it. That's just what the Conservatives do. They play on people's fears. That's what they do in the U.S. They've been doing that in the U.S. my entire life, and I'm a former conservative in the U.S. So I understand And I was able to step back and watch the Conservative Party become a nationalistic party, and I had no interest in that. And that was a couple decades ago. And they've got even more crazy since then. All right. The last four, Carter, as we leave. I thought I said this was going to be a short one. I guess not. For Carter, what's the future of Canadian politics looking like as we start in January 2025 and move through the year? How's the future looking like for Canadian politics? Well, this was the Pierre card that came through there. We got the anxiety, the Page of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles. That's interesting. That card came up. Oh no. I'd hate to think that there's manipulations going on in Canadian elections, but you know what? There were manipulations in Romania. There were manipulations, I forget the other European country where they saw that. There's manipulations going on in the U.S. Why should Canada be any different? What's going to happen? I think the Conservatives are going to continue to do well. Is the election going to be stolen? Yeah, that's a little early to say. How about this? They're going to keep on saying that whoever replaces Justin Trudeau is going to drain the country and ruin the country, and that the Democrats are basically stealing the livelihood from people. How about that? They're gonna really work on their message that they're the ones with the great new ideas, and they're the kitchen table issue party, and the other party's just a complete disaster. I would be careful what I wish for. It could very well be that Pierre and company do all right by Canada. The problem is that when you become a populist, a nationalistic, populistic figure, and he's considered to be such, bad things happen. And Canada they've made some steps forward, they may be taking some steps back. But a lot of the world are facing this. So in Canada, it wouldn't be as bad as in the U.S. U.S. is just crazy town right now. Somebody, I saw a joke the other day, said the definition of insanity is between Canada and Mexico. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it informative, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.